From the outside, their life seemed like a modern American fairy tale. A young farming couple building a future on thousands of acres of rich Midwestern soil, sharing both the grind and the glory with an ever-growing audience online. She was magnetic, charismatic, passionate, and tireless in her work. He was steady, quiet, outdoorsy, and supportive in ways that didn't always make the headlines. Together, they appeared unstoppable, blending the traditions of rural life with the ambition of the digital age. Their farm wasn't just a place to grow crops, it became a symbol of identity, influence, and aspiration. Fans admired their synergy, their devotion to one another, and their commitment to the land. Yet, behind the carefully curated content and flawless imagery, subtle cracks were beginning to show, hinting that not everything in their idyllic life was as perfect as it appeared. The rise of a digital farming empire. What began as simple videos documenting daily farm life quickly evolved into something far larger. Early content showcased mornings spent in the fields, boots caked in mud, and massive machinery rolling over endless acres of farmland. Viewers were captivated by the authenticity, inspired by the combination of tradition and innovation. Farming was no longer portrayed as outdated or mundane. It was powerful, modern, and surprisingly exciting. As follower counts soared into the hundreds of thousands and eventually millions, the brand expanded into merchandise, partnerships, and a more sophisticated operation. The appeal remained the same: hard work, honesty, and a love for the land. Yet the farm had become more than a place of production. It had become a lifestyle, a symbol, and a message that resonated with millions, demonstrating that authenticity and ambition could coexist in a rural context. Marriage as the perfect chapter. When they married in December 2020, it seemed like the natural next chapter of their story. The wedding, held amidst a world full of uncertainty, symbolized resilience, hope, and enduring love. He fits seamlessly into the narrative. A man who loved dirt bikes, wide open fields, and the rhythms of rural life. On camera, they balanced each other beautifully. She brought energy, charisma, and confidence. He offered calm, steadiness, and support. Fans adored the chemistry between them. Their marriage wasn't just a union of hearts, it became a cornerstone of the brand. Together, they embodied youth, tradition, and the promise of building something lasting. This relationship added depth to their public persona, making viewers invested in both the farm and the partnership, creating a story that felt aspirational and grounded in timeless values. The first signs of change over time, careful observers began noticing subtle changes. He appeared less frequently in videos, and when he did, there was a quiet distraction in his demeanor. Moments that once felt spontaneous now seemed calculated. Social media posts featured fewer candid couple shots, and playful interactions were replaced with more muted exchanges. The differences weren't drastic, but for longtime fans, the shift was noticeable. The warmth that had once defined their dynamic appeared muted, leaving followers to question what had changed behind the scenes. There was no official statement, but speculation began to grow. The silence from the couple, intended perhaps as privacy, started to feel like avoidance. This quiet absence became fertile ground for rumors and theories as viewers tried to make sense of the subtle but growing tension in a story that had once seemed so effortlessly perfect. The missing wedding ring. A detail that sparked widespread discussion was the absence of her wedding ring. In several videos, her left hand appeared bare. Initially, followers rationalized it. Handling heavy machinery and working on a farm can make wearing jewelry unsafe. But as time passed, the explanation seemed less convincing. In public perception, a missing ring carries weight. It is symbolic, raising questions about distance, commitment, or marital strain. Screenshots circulated online, and discussions exploded in comment sections. What might have been a minor detail became a focal point of speculation. Fans analyzed every hand gesture, every fleeting glance. The absence of this small, everyday item took on oversized significance, turning an ordinary aspect of life into what many perceived as evidence of an underlying problem. Divorce rumors take root. Once speculation about the missing ring intensified, rumors of divorce began to circulate. The theory seemed logical to many. Fame brings scrutiny, farming brings stress, and the combination could strain even the strongest marriage. Viewers dissected body language, tone of voice, and interactions for signs of tension. Some argued the emotional warmth had faded, others defended the couple, insisting all was normal. Yet, once the notion entered the public conversation, it became nearly impossible to contain. Silence from the couple only fueled curiosity, leaving fans to fill in the blanks. The image of a golden rural power couple, once celebrated for their unity, was now under relentless examination, and the audience's desire for answers created its own pressure, adding complexity to an already demanding public life. Speculation about illness. As divorce alone failed to fully explain changes in his appearance, a darker theory emerged: illness. Observers noticed weight fluctuations, fatigue, and a weariness in his eyes that had not been present before. Some began searching for signs of serious health issues, with searches online linking his name to potential medical concerns. This narrative carried emotional weight and garnered sympathetic responses from followers. Messages of support, encouragement, and prayer filled comment sections. It provided a lens to interpret his absence and distance, a way to contextualize behavior that might otherwise appear detached. Yet there was no confirmation, no medical statement. Still, the theory persisted, spreading because it seemed to offer a reasonable explanation for visible changes and a public absence that fans found concerning. The psychological toll of guilt. Living with unresolved guilt can manifest in ways that resemble illness. It affects mood, energy, sleep, and appetite. Social withdrawal becomes common. Paranoia and anxiety around exposure can intensify, especially for someone in the public eye. Every interaction becomes a potential threat, every comment or a new follower a source of stress. Over time, this internal burden manifests physically, and the strain of carrying secrets under scrutiny can be mistaken for sickness or relationship problems. Smiles become forced, laughter measured. What fans interpret as marital tension or health concerns may be the subtle erosion of emotional resilience caused by guilt, regret, or unresolved trauma. This makes managing both a public persona and personal well-being extraordinarily challenging. Balancing brand and reality. Operating a farm is one challenge. Managing a media empire layered on top of it is another. Transparency builds trust, but overexposure risks privacy and mental health. If a difficult past exists, revealing it could threaten finances, reputation, and emotional stability. Remaining silent may protect the brand temporarily, but it carries a cost. Public scrutiny magnifies every detail, making normal stress and private struggles appear as crises. The individual must navigate competing priorities, maintaining the farm, preserving the brand, safeguarding personal life, and managing emotional health. This balancing act can feel impossible, forcing choices between authenticity and survival, disclosure and protection. Each decision weighs heavily as consequences ripple across both personal and professional spheres. Conclusion: behind the smiles. At its heart, this story is not about gossip. It's about perception versus reality. A thriving farm, impressive online following, and curated public persona can mask deep personal strain. Divorce rumors, speculation about illness, or even theories about hidden pasts may reflect fragments of truth, visible in small behaviors but not fully understood. Whether the struggle stems from guilt, stress, or undisclosed challenges, the effort to maintain both land and legacy under scrutiny is exhausting. What truly matters is not speculation, but honesty, healing, and communication. The fields will always grow, seasons will come and go, but the ultimate harvest lies in restoring trust, partnership, and personal well-being, both behind the camera and in life beyond it.